Peace.
Sir.
Welcome to another edition of Plot in Progress. This is episode 69. Got a real special guest.
Yes, indeed.
I'm trying to get her on the show for a minute. She disappeared on me, though. I don't know what happened. We're gonna talk about all that. We got Aleeyah Sanders in the building. She's a licensed commercial general contractor and the founder of Dream Build Development, which is a construction and real estate development company focused on building and revitalizing communities. She's also the founder of the nonprofit Let's Rebuild Tuskegee, which develops housing and workforce development programs that train community members in the construction industry. As one of the less than 1% of women licensed commercial general contractors in the United States, Aleeyah is dedicated to creating pathways for others while leading transformative developmental projects. But before we do get into the interview, sis, we gotta get into our mission statement.
Yes, indeed.
Go ahead.
So, here at the Growth Spot, we're unified in action to build, protect, and expand a fruitful legacy of love, equity, growth, ancestry, cooperation, and yield. Inspiring and educating on the practices of agriculture, self-care, nutrition, environmental stewardship, and entrepreneurship. We aim to cultivate a vibrant community that's rooted in resilience and sustainability.
So once again, Aleeyah, welcome to the show, and I got to give you a proper intro with the applause. All right. And do you consider yourself a hip hop head, Aleeyah?
Well, a little bit, a little rusty on the old school, but yeah, a little bit.
That's set up.
All right. Well, we got this excerpt. You said you watched some previous episodes. We got this excerpt called "Spit Them Bars," in which we recite hip hop lyrics that kind of go along with our mission most of the time, whether it deals with agriculture or revolutionary type bars. And what I really like about this section of the show is that hip hop gets a bad rap, but we always stress the type of lyrics that change that narrative. You know what I'm saying? That
frames us in a better light, of the culture and everything. Yeah.
Okay. And tonight, my man, brother Bilal, he's gonna drop the jewels, and we'll see how good this is.
All right, yep. I got the lyrics. I got the artist, but I'm still quite not sure what song it's from. But I got the artist and the lyrics. So here we go. I'm out here making a mockery. I got my realtor out here playing Monopoly. How can I dress you when you don't own property? They only finesse you when you don't move properly. Destined for the win, but you don't get the prize out of me. I'm destined for the top, but you can't get a rise out of me. What was that?
It sounds like a song I need to know. I need to figure that one out. But I don't know. It sounds like a Jay-Z type song, or yeah, I haven't heard that one before, but I need to get up on game.
Give us a region. Give us the region.
Ooh, region.
Out the country.
Out the country?
For real?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Really? Okay. Huh.
That makes sense. I don't know.
Somewhere like the country. Rapping like that.
It ain't Damian Marley, is it?
It's not
Right.
Damian Marley.
Huh.
I'm out here making a mockery. I got my realtor out here playing Monopoly. How can I dress you when you don't own property? They only finesse you when you don't move properly. Destined for the win, but you can't get the prize out of me. I'm destined for the top, but you can't get a rise out of me.
I'm just gonna throw one out there. Burna Boy?
Huh?
Burna Boy?
You want
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to y'all.
21 Savage?
Great.
Drake.
Drake. why your facial expression change? You
I
like
didn't even think about that.
bars. You can't.
Out of the country,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, Canada. Yeah.
That was good.
Oh
That
man.
was so good.
Yeah.
You don't
That's
know.
why 21 Savage. I was like, because he went through his little bout, recently. So I was like, maybe it's 21 Savage.
That's
It's
a
probably on the song they got together. I'm gonna find out the song before we get done though. But let's just keep it moving for now. But man, I had to. It felt like the perfect time to go ahead and bring our brother into the fold. You feel me?
We recited Drake bars on Not Inclined.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting.
Oh man, you
Drake.
like those bars though. Yeah, before
Yeah,
you do it with Drake.
You know what song that is? Straight up. Aleeyah, welcome to the show, sis.
Yeah, we just be having fun, you know what I mean, and just spitting this game, this knowledge, and sharing the information amongst our peers. That's how Plot and Progress really got started. Is it gives us the opportunity to highlight others that are out here doing some of the similar things that we are, and give them a platform to also share everything that they're doing. So, we met, I think it was in the first RBG weekend. The first RBG weekend we met, right?
That was like 2022, I think it was.
I think 2022. And like True said, I've been looking for you ever since.
Yeah.
I'm glad you still doing it and pursuing your goals and your dreams, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yo, Go ahead, sis.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And I was just gonna say, like, I appreciate, meeting you all and everything that you guys, got going on down there in Phoenix and, just all over, Arizona. There's nothing like, I haven't experienced anything like what you guys have, anywhere else. Like, you guys really have a whole, tribe of, our people, like, really coming together and doing things, like, moving money together, making investments, buying land together. And, it's a whole ecosystem that you guys have built. So, like, I haven't experienced that anywhere else. And so, yeah, I think that's really, really good. And I really, enjoy experiencing that and meeting you guys.
Peace. It's wild that you say that, sis, because going back to that first time we met you, I remember you had like a booth set up, and I think it was Bilal, maybe Crondo, somebody came up to me and they're like, check out these sisters, true, they on the same thing that we on, you know what I'm saying? And when I went over there, I was like, I'm trying to be like them. They doing it. So for you to say that you haven't seen anything like that, because when we first got started, I was like, yo, we need to connect with Aleeyah because she's doing it. You know what I'm saying? She can help us out with the Saturday Thursday. It's wild that you say that. But I want to get right into it because I know, like, a sister I used to talk to, she had her daughters in one of your programs in which I was, teaching the youth about, what was that Dream Builder or was that Let's Build?
Was it another sister out in Arizona, right?
Yeah, Shamika.
Yeah. So yeah, with that, we were all, developing and trying to build on the land that we have, in Arizona out there. So yeah.
You had a lot of workshops, right?
Yeah, we had some workshops. We were building like some A-frames out there and some other structures and things of that nature. So I was like kind of teaching people about framing and just about building, utilizing the tools and everything so we can kind of build these structures. So yeah, definitely we had them like during the weekends and it's kind of bringing people out there as well.
All right, so basically just bring us up to date. Share some of your background and your experience and what you've done, like what's on your resume.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I've kind of always been around construction and, building my whole life. My uncles introduced me into the industry. They're, builders. And then my aunt, she now passed away, but she, was a developer. She had like a whole neighborhood, that my uncles built, and I kind of, grew up around that. And then my mom invested in real estate, so like they kind of put me all on game, and I ended up going to Tuskegee, Alabama, to go to college. Because I'm originally from Sacramento, California, but I traveled to Tuskegee, Alabama, to go to college at Tuskegee University. And I got my degree in construction science and management in 2018. And from there, even while I was a student, I started saving my refund checks so I could invest in real estate, as the real estate was real cheap, back then. And still kind of is in that area. But yeah, bought my first house, renovated it, brought a lot of my friends along and taught them about construction. And we ended up starting a nonprofit called Let's Rebuild Tuskegee. And we were just renovating houses around the Tuskegee area, so that way we could provide more housing for the students and community members, as it was and still is a lack of housing out, in that area. So we were just trying to provide an immediate need. But so yeah, after that, I was like, let me get into development. And I was like kind of looking around for some land. And that's when I stumbled upon the land in Arizona. And I've always wanted to invest in Arizona just because of the codes, like the building codes, and the zoning out there. You can make kind of off-grid structures in some of the counties. So I definitely wanted to be a part of that. So ended up buying the 20 acres of land for, it was, extremely cheap, and so and had this like plan to, develop it. I learned a lot of things while trying to develop that land, stumbled a lot, found out, the ways of not to develop, some land, but, that just made me stronger and made me find the ways to develop. And so that brought me to where I am now. I ended up, after, stumbling a little bit, I ended up moving back to Georgia and working for another GC, general contractor, and really getting into the weeds of development. So I started reading textbooks about development and, general contracting every single morning and every single night, so I can, hone my craft. Then I started studying for my general contractor's license. So I'm like, we really need this as a community. Like somebody, needs their license, in our community. So I just started studying. There's 25 books that you have to study to become, a licensed GC. And so I just, studied all those books, memorized the material, and applied my knowledge, and got my license last year in 2025. And ended up buying some more land in Tuskegee, Alabama. We bought 2 lots, and we actually just got our stamped architectural drawings yesterday, actually, for a 10-unit townhouse development on one of those lots for Tuskegee. Thank you. And yeah, we're just, going at it that way. And also right now on the GC side, I have a few clients out here in Georgia. We're wrapping up 3 office tenant build outs right now. So for a client, we have our final inspection next week, and I have 2 house renovations going on, and some more projects coming in, some more great things. Like some things just happened today that are really good too. So it's kind of unfolded, and I definitely want to like be able to take this model to other communities and really come back to Arizona too. Yeah, to like, be a part of like, what you guys are doing. Like I said, you guys have something tremendous that, we could really like work together on. And yeah, so
that's what's up.
Yeah, thank you for sharing all of that. So I have a 2-part question for you. So, for starters, do you still have the land in Arizona? And then the second part of that question is, if you don't mind sharing, what are some of the things that you ran into that kind of, let's just say that kind of like rearranged your thoughts or realign your thoughts. Let's use that word instead.
Definitely. Yeah, I do still own that land in Arizona. I do still have plans for that land, to develop it, the right way. Some of the things I ran into, one of the main things is just kind of utilizing my own money. So even to get the money to buy the land and trying to, build on it. I had sold some houses that I had previously bought and to liquidate and have some money to develop out there. But realizing I was way in over my head, monetarily, like it costs a lot of money to develop. Especially like I was kind of doing it solo, and didn't really have, I should have, brought in more people, into that. And knowing now that for development, there's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of capital, that people can, give to invest in these developments. And that's something I didn't know about. And so basically I was spending all my money till, it kind of pretty much ran out. And that's one of the things I ran into. And then another thing with, it just being so far out, y'all know, it's off grid. And so that creates a whole hardship too, when you don't have, Home Depot right up the road, you don't have, basic utilities there, which is still very possible to develop on, but just makes it a little bit harder. So that was another hardship. So yeah, it was mainly the money thing though. That was the hardest. And also with the money, even before you get financing, for development, like not having a solid plan, I had a plan, like, okay, I wanted to do this. Basically the plan was to build kind of an off-grid eco community, type thing, where we have like A-frame structures, we have super adobe structures, and we can grow our own food out there. If people would like to live on the land, off grid, that would be great. But what I was lacking was, actual architectural like drawings and, actual cost of how much everything would cost, all together, and a solid business plan, going in. And I just, didn't have those things in place, and just kind of going on hope, and saw what happened when you don't have like a solid plan.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being so transparent about your journey, because sometimes those hard parts people are not so willing to share. Right. But the more that we can share that information, the more that we can help each other. So I truly appreciate that. I've learned some things, and I've already identified some of the steps that we're taking that we can probably look at again to make sure that we're not moving too fast in the process. Because getting the land it's a huge accomplishment, and it comes with excitement and momentum. And sometimes you can get lost in that energy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So thank you for sharing that, and more power to you also, because by sharing that, it means, and it sounds like you've already accepted what it was, and you've already started the process on moving forward. That's powerful. You feel me?
Yeah.
Lessons learned. That's cool.
Lessons learned. Yeah. And I mean, the lessons just make you better, and all. And, I can do what I'm doing now, like share those lessons so we can, rise, as a community, and, do better like next time.
Yeah. And sometimes, it takes that reset, you know what I mean? It takes for you to go to a different location to come back and reset, you know what I'm saying? And so that way you come back 10 times better. So that's powerful. Like the brother said, man, I give you homage for just being willing to share that with us, because that's that's it speaks to the epitome of a person that's always constantly learning.
Yeah, definitely. And like and one thing, in community building and just like building in general, like a lot of people can have egos, involved in it, huge
Man,
egos
say
that don't let them
that
be
part.
vulnerable and see, where they're, can improve at. And, I had to accept, like, Bilal said, like I had to accept, where I was and where I need to improve at to be better, and how I do need to reset and calculate, okay, this is where I went wrong, but this is how I can improve. This is how I can strengthen. This is where I need more knowledge at. And so, yeah, that's where I started reading and got more into like the in-depth industry and like what it really takes,
Can't
And
be
speaking of,
yeah. You feel me?
now I was gonna say, speaking of that, what really inspired you to get into it? Because it's not an easy thing to do. When you think about just the ability to go out there and create and tap in with your hands, it's not necessarily an easy task to be able to do so. But what really got you into that? What motivated you to get into that?
Yeah, I just love like seeing like literally nothing transform into something. It's like a huge arts and crafts, type of thing, construction. So like just seeing my uncles build my aunt's houses on her subdivision, I was like, that's what I want to do. I'm huge in art and culture, and I just want to bring that, to the community, as well as being able to provide something that's very vital, for our community, like housing, buildings, like that's like our birthright, right? And so a lot of times that's been taken away from us. So I just always wanted to be that for our community. Even at a young age, I've always been into helping others. And but yeah, as far as construction and real estate goes, I just saw that as a vehicle to empower each other in our community from what I saw from my family. And I think being exposed to construction and real estate at a young age was crucial, and
For sure.
just speaks to the power of exposure, period. Like, what kids are exposed to is what they're gonna go into. You know what I'm saying? Like if they never knew that, you can be a billionaire because they never seen it, then they'll never be a billionaire. And so because I've seen real estate at a young age, that's something I knew that was possible, because I've seen, different people in my family who look like me do it. And it's not just, a white person on TV, it's people who like in the same background, actually even a worse background than I came from, because like my mom and my aunt and uncles, they used to be sharecroppers. Like they grew up as sharecroppers in Mississippi. And so when my mom was 13, they left Mississippi to head to California. And they knew construction from just being on the land, and so they utilized their skills and made a better life for themselves. And so my aunt ended up becoming a real estate broker and developer, utilizing the skills that they already knew. And so they kind of trained me in that way, and I got exposed to it and just wanted to be that as well.
So I'm sure you already writing your book, right? Like seriously, because it reminds me of a book that I read before. I think it's called like Black Fortunes or something like that. But I don't want to steer too far away from your story. I want to focus on the fact that you mentioned your uncles and your aunts kind of like expose you to it, and even your mom as well. So you being able to like be a child and understand what they were doing is very powerful, because one of the things that we talk about and we strive to live in that manner is legacy. That's all we talk about. But legacy is continued by the next generation. So everything we're doing right now, we truly hope and depend on those who have came after us to continue that, like what you've done for your uncles and your aunts and your mother. Even if it wasn't a part of what they started, by you keeping that energy alive is really like living legacy. You know what I mean? So more power to you on that, and your uncles and your aunts for kind of planting that seed and laying the foundation. You know, that's powerful.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you. It really is. And I mean, that's the goal of everything, is like, generational and exposing the next generation to everything that's possible and everything that they can strive for and achieve. And, they can achieve even more, than we can and have, and it just keeps going that way. And even with that, and real estate and all this other stuff, one study or one thing I've come across is that a lot of people, in our community, they're in a position to, like, once they get put on, they'll buy houses for their parents, or buy houses for just the elders in their family, which is perfectly fine, which is what we should do as well. But also we shouldn't negate giving that to the next generation who's younger than us, and making sure that, like, kids aren't in a position going forward to try to do for older generations. Well, it's the other way around, like we're putting on for the younger generations as well.
Yeah, so they don't have to start from zero, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Even if it's not nothing we'll say like tangible, but just the knowledge. The knowledge is enough to keep them from starting from zero. And the exposure as well. Exposing them to certain things keeps them from starting at zero. You feel me?
Yeah. Exactly. Because we have too many resources here nowadays, to start at zero. Like, we should be definitely, especially with tech, providing in our own tech services, our own technology, real estate, construction, anything you could put your mind to, you can literally access nowadays. So we really shouldn't be starting at zero. So, like, anything that we can impart our knowledge on for the next generation is imperative. And two, I want to kind of relate that to, like, gatekeeping. Like, in our community, there's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to knowledge of certain industries and certain things. Like, people, instead of putting others on, like, how'd you develop this, how'd you get this credential, or how'd you get up, they want to just keep it for themselves and think that it's only one of us that can make it to the top. But really, wealth is in numbers. You can't become wealthy in a silo. And that's one thing that I've learned, and thank you. Yeah. And I'm trying to, incorporate, is like, relationships is everything. You can't gatekeep anything if you really want to make it. Because it's lonely at the top, but it doesn't have to be.
Right. He's saying everything right now. I think it's beautiful that you had the support that you had with family, because we had Bria Baker on the show. She was talking about this as well. My mother was a sharecropper in Mississippi.
Wow.
Often I tell, like, a lot of my comrades that a lot of, my grandfather never worked for anybody. I often tell them that a lot of that knowledge wasn't passed on down, And I want to ask you, why do you think it is that some of us are, I don't know, ashamed of the history that they come from, and rather, like, go to schools and work for other people, versus, like, they had everything that they pretty much needed and then pass it on. Just told like their offsprings to, like, just go to school when they had all the tools for self.
You saying, like, why are we, like, ashamed to work for others, or to?
Well, I mean, like, okay, say like your family didn't pass on the skills, teach
Yeah.
what they had to you. Instead, they were like, just go to school and get a job and work for other people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I often tell people, like, I'm learning all this stuff right now when all my family did this. And I didn't get any of it. It's just like, go to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like my family kind of did that too. Like they want me to play it safe, too. And I think that's what it is with a lot of our families. Like even if you had other people who are entrepreneurs and have all of this skill set and are successful in this area, it's like at the end of the day, they want some of the younger generation to play it safe, like go to school, get a job, get these benefits, make sure you have a steady paycheck coming in, at the end of the day. And the knowledge that we got, from our family sharecropping and things of that nature, it's like, I think they just want us to, just be safe. But really, there's no safety in even having a job, when you're working for somebody else. I mean, it's just non-existent. So, they can fire you at any point in time. And a lot of times, benefits like aren't even a real thing either, because they're changing the health laws for the healthcare all the time. For also the laws for Social Security, all of that. So it's no safety in it. And so when we realize that we have to do for ourselves and we have to utilize our knowledge, that's when the change is made. And I think where that mentality stems from is back, slavery, plantations. Who wants to run away from the plantation, right? Or do you want to stay here? A lot of people wanted to stay there. Everybody's not Harriet Tubman, you know what I'm saying? And everyone didn't run with Harriet Tubman. And so that's a mentality that we have to get out of, is playing it safe. And that's the same thing, with a plantation. You're not safe there. You about to get whipped. You know what I'm saying? Like you're working till your body gives out, literally. Our people were being raped, killed, sold, you know what I'm saying? But yet that was safe. So
now
we just have to
being exploited on the job. You feel me?
Huh?
I said, now we're being exploited on the job. You feel me?
Exactly. I mean, and that's what it is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, we're really being exploited, and we have to realize that we're working these jobs for this little paycheck, but making these people millions of dollars for doing nothing, essentially. And so we have to realize what our inherent worth is and what we bring to the table, and do that for ourselves. And that's safety, right? Because when we can trust ourselves to say, I can bring this is what I do, this is my purpose as a person, then we're unstoppable, especially if we link that together with other people who know their purpose as well. So that's the safety, is in relationships, sovereignty as a person, and being able to link that with everybody else.
Yeah, we just had a previous episode when we were talking about the importance of building relationships. You know what I'm saying? Connecting with like minds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Brother Kid, you got anything else?
So in the grand scheme of everything that you're doing right now, the nonprofit work that you got going on, and all of that stuff that's materializing before your eyes, you're literally building it as we speak. When you look out, let's say 5 to 10 years, where do you see yourself in that time frame?
5 to 10 years, I definitely see myself having structures set up in multiple underserved communities and areas. So basically, my company Dream Build Development, moving in different areas across the country where we have underserved communities. bringing the capital relationships that I have, to these communities, getting with the different business owners and homeowners and seeing, okay, what is your dream? What is it that you want to do? And we put the paperwork, we're putting the paperwork behind it, like, the feasibility studies, like all of the paperwork to get that capital, and being able to put these businesses that's, these people's dreams in this community, because that's going to get, we know what we want to buy from, we know what we want to see, in our communities. So that's what I see, 5 to 10 years from now. And even with the nonprofit work, Let's Rebuild Tuskegee, I see Tuskegee flourishing as it once had, back when Booker T. Washington was still alive. And so that's, the goal for us to get back to that time. But yeah, that's what I see is, I really want to be in the underserved communities, being the voice for, our people, and bringing, people together and providing what's needed, helping to provide what's needed.
Powerful, very powerful.
My last question would be, since you talked about seeing people that look like you in the field of production, and in your bio, you talk about being 1% of females that's contractors. And I want to ask you, what, if any, obstacles that you face as far as, like, was there any type of misogyny, or like, can you talk to us a little bit about your struggle and your story? Because there's this thing called the manosphere, right? Where people talk about, men in the world, and I Uber, so I pick up a lot of women who are in construction. You know what I'm saying? And like, just if you could just speak to that.
Yeah, I've experienced a lot of things, in the construction industry. And when I first graduated, I worked for a company called DPR Construction. But anyways, it was hard to get employed, in the first place, as a woman in construction. A lot of times, you're underestimated, and they think that you won't be able to do the job. Even though when I worked, after I graduated and went into work, I wasn't doing any physical, labor or anything. It was just all management. So a lot of times I faced a lot of, issues in misogyny when it came to the subcontractors that I would be managing. And so, because it's all men, and a lot of times it's all white men too, so it was a lot of that. And then also I commissioned into the National Guard as an officer when I graduated too. And so with that, I mean, even trying to get into formation, and stand in formation, I would get pushed by other soldiers in the National Guard, and they would try to, like, literally physically try to fight me. And yeah, so there's a lot of that. People talked about my hair. This was even before I got locks. People would say, why is your hair in braids? You need to be like my hair, or anything like that. And then after I left Arizona and came back to Georgia to get a job again, I mean, it was extremely difficult to get another job. I mean, I got turned down left and right from every single job I applied to, even though I had the resume for these jobs. And I had to end up going to this program called Construction Ready to get a job. And it's for, people who just got out of prison, so that nature, but
people that are trying to go entry level.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to, enter that program, and to get a job, because they, promise jobs for people. And so I got interviews and things of that nature, and ended up not getting a job through that either. And so months went by, and I finally ended up getting a job by a Black-owned company, which is really good. And I got put on the airport expansion project here in Atlanta, managing other subcontractors and things of that nature. But even with that, they try to limit what you can do and what you can manage.
Of course.
So it's just tough. Like, you really have to show what your value is and show that you actually know construction and that you can actually
Crazy.
Manage this project. But I think what women bring to the table for construction is different than what men bring to the table, in
100%.
construction. Like, women can see things that sometimes, just being honest, like, that men can miss, right? And so even if it's a design element, even if it's a management element, we're keen at managing, things. So, like, even if you take it back to ancient Kemet, and those empires, like warriors, you had women who were leaders, and even creating these pyramids. And so, that type of element that we bring to the table never left us. And so I think there's room for both men and women, when it comes to construction, and it doesn't always have to just be physical labor, even though some women do physical, construction labor. But we definitely bring more of a managerial, role to construction and see things that can possibly be missed if we were on the job site, and so really, like, women need to fight more to be in the construction industry. And one of the things that I'm working on doing is, trying to bring more women into the industry and kind of break down those barriers and show that, we can do this job just as well, as men can, in certain aspects. So, there's room for both, and it shouldn't just be, 1% or less licensed commercial women general contractors. That should be, more of a common thing.
Yeah, speaking for all of the real men, I can definitely bear witness that women can see things that men can't. It's a very critical piece that we need to continue to move forward as well. So I agree with you. Women can see things that men can't, and in that space, I'm happy that you're bringing that energy into that space.
For sure.
Now with a lot of the trades coming back, for a minute they were kind of falling off, but they're coming back now and predicted over the next 4 to 5 years to make an even bigger, stronger comeback and impact. How do you feel about that? And do you have any plans on taking part in helping to funnel some of those new faces into the space?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked that question. I'm really excited that the trades are coming back, because it's something that's really needed, as a lot of the tradesmen that we have now are retiring, out of the industry. And so we need people, to enter this industry and really, build, like literally build in every single trade. I mean, carpentry, you have so many sub trades within carpentry. You have your framing, you have painting, flooring, and that's could just be on residential side. Commercial side, you have, your specialty trades, like, your steel beams, steel erection. You have, your glazing, which is glass, windows. You have your exterior skin panels, and all of those are sub trades. And then you have your electrical, plumbing, mechanical, all of that. And so, especially in this economic time that we have a way of making money. And in the trades, you can get paid a lot. You can like literally become a millionaire just by working in the trades. They have like this book. I have to read it, but I read the summary of it, The Millionaire Next Door. And a lot of the millionaires are construction, workers, like literal blue collar, trades people. So I'm really excited that that's coming back, because it's really needed, and we need younger people involved, in it. And also, for your second question, I am definitely working on bringing more people into the trades right now. We're actually working on a workforce development program for Tuskegee right now. So it's in partnership with Tuskegee University, in which we are creating a way to train the community members and the students, the college students, about building these 10 units. So we have our subcontractors on board as well to teach. And yeah, so they're going to be involved in helping with the grading of the site, grading and leveling out the site, the foundation work, the plumbing, electrical, mechanical, even framing, all 10 units, and, building out the finishes as well. And I'm really excited about these 10 units because we have an interior design firm that we're working with called Arla Moreau. They're based out of Boston, but they've designed each unit to be designed differently, basically have a theme for each unit. And so, the people in the workforce development program, they'll be able to, put different finishes in each unit. One is based off of a revolutionary vibe. One is a teacher's vibe. There's different themes based off of our Black history. But yeah, we're definitely creating workforce development programs, and the curriculum that we have, we'll be able to take it around to different communities. So
we are definitely on the same wavelength. We're building something similar to that. So before I talk too much about that, I just want to ask you, what age did you really start to get interested in trades, let's just say? And then also the second part to that question is, what do you think is a good age for a child to get started in learning and training in that particular space?
That's a really good question. As far as trades, I really got interested in high school, especially because in high school, the high school I went to, we still had like wood shop and all that stuff. So I got involved in wood shop in high school. Also this program called ACE, which stands for Architecture, Construction, and Engineering. And so they brought, different mentors down to our high school and mentored us in these different fields and industries. And so they gave us a sample project to complete and to come up with. Basically, it was a scenario where we had to design a commercial space and design everything, that would be involved in it, and create the construction plan for it. And then we competed against other high schools. And we usually won, all of our competitions. But I would say around high school is when I really got involved in it. And as far as kids being involved and what age they should get involved, I say the earlier the better. I mean, you can literally put some Legos, in front of a kid and see what they do with it and see what they build. And there's like a lot of test kits too, like construction kits that you can, bring a child and they can, build with that. And yeah, I'd say like the earlier the better. Like, they can start building with popsicle sticks. And even as far as getting exposed to actual construction and everything, going on to job sites, if they can get tours of job sites, I would say as early as like 12, get them walking and exposed to job sites, meeting different contractors, meeting different, subcontractors, and letting them ask all the questions that they want to ask. As long as, they're not too close to any danger or anything like that. Make sure they got proper, hard hat, everything, and teach them about safety. I'd say like they can start at least walking the site and getting to know, researching as early as 12, if not before, if they're, careful. But I say the earlier the better.
Yeah, that's what my question was for. My question was for research purposes also. So
we got some stuff that you would be interested in, I'm quite sure. So we'll definitely lock you in and tap you into a lot of what we got going on in regards to that. And one of our first areas is going to focus on safety too. So I'm glad that you mentioned that as a part of your response. And like you said, I got my son when he was probably 3 at the time. We got him the magnetic kit, right?
Mhm.
And I went away for a few minutes, came back to the room. He already had a structure built, and I was like, wait a minute, where did that come from? You know what I mean? So he had that natural brain ability to start correcting stuff. And so, even at school today, they got a lot of the magnetic tiles and kits and Legos, like you said, at school. And his teacher is amazed because she'll look over and, he's not playing with anybody else, but he's playing by himself. And then she'll look over and he's got a big, a structure built. And she's like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think the earlier you can get them interested in it, and like you said, with proper training and support and the safety protocols, I think that really helps for sure.
Yeah, and that I was just talking. I was just in a meeting last week, and we were talking about a scenario, just like that, where you give you give some kids a puzzle or like some Legos and see what they do with it, and the kid that is just sitting by themselves but figures it out, like that's a quiet genius. And you gotta like keep giving them harder and harder, like just slightly harder every time, puzzles or Legos, to figure out. And like literally try to give them something, one day that's impossible to figure out, and they'll figure out a way to solve it and to build, on that. And so yeah, you really gotta hone in on it. And I think kids like that's perfect for construction. And then too, like not just construction, I think kids should get into development, because there's a difference too between construction and development. Development is more of what happens before the construction starts, the paperwork, what is this going to be, what's good for our community, how is the community going to interact with it, how much economic development is it going to generate for the community, like how many jobs is this going to provide, and things of that nature. And so I think people should get involved in the development aspect as well, and yeah, just get exposed to that. And because even if you're a developer and a GC, you don't have to just wait on just clients. You can create your own projects, like literally just find out what buildings you want to acquire, get with some people in your community, see what's needed, and y'all just do the thing instead of just waiting. So I think like development too is where it's at.
And speaking of that, so that generates another question. I wanted to ask this a little bit earlier, but you mentioned that there were some lessons that you learned. Can you give us one of those big lessons or big key lessons that you learned, about the journey with the land here and then moving over to Tuskegee and everything?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely it was one of the major lessons, which is financial and like having a business plan, but also like more of the nitty gritty lessons was like, even when it relates to development, to get capital, like you got to have what's called a feasibility study. And so like your feasibility study just basically says like, is this a go or a no go? And what determines that is like your market, like who are you feeding to, who is going to be coming to this place, and is there anything else kind of like that? And if not, like how are you going to like create it? So like you literally have to just write everything like that down. And then I didn't have that, so that was a major issue and caused me to like spend a lot of money that I shouldn't have been spending. And then two, I didn't have what's called a pro forma model. And so a pro forma is basically a spreadsheet that lists all of the numbers for your return on investment. And basically it's a spreadsheet that shows that this is going to generate what you want it to generate, and it's gonna be a hit basically, and just shows that you have a plan going into it. And also, like in your feasibility study and your pro forma model, you have to say like everything that could go wrong with it, with this development, and really create solutions for everything that's going to go wrong. And so I just kind of went into it and was like, nothing can go wrong, and literally like spent all my money, and didn't really have a solid plan as far as how I was going to really bring the whole thing to fruition. And also didn't have, like, I really should have leaned into the community, out there. Like, y'all should have leaned into y'all a lot more. And like, I was, pretty much, just out there. And so that's one thing I lacked. And definitely, next time around, I'll definitely, be leaning into the community and making it a whole, community effort from the start.
I always meant to like get up with you, sis.
For real.
See what I could learn. So it's just not on your end. But before we get out, I really wanted to talk about this. I know Bilal's gonna like this topic. I don't know how much is automated in the construction field, but we need to talk about how much you got to be fit in the construction field, because I see you stunting on IG. I see you showing off your 6-pack, and you still in the gym, sis?
Oh yeah. I go like every morning to the gym. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, it is a physical thing, because one, you're out there just in the sun, so you have to be able to have your body kind of used to those kind of conditions, those physical conditions in the heat, because I've seen a lot of people who aren't fit, they'll end up passing out in those conditions because you're still in a hard hat, you're in a lot of equipment, and so you're moving around a lot of equipment. It's a very physical type of field. And so in construction, they say you have to be able to lift at least 50 pounds on a daily basis. And, a lot of people end up having a lot of back issues, a lot of, knee issues, because they're not, lifting things properly. So you gotta like really train yourself and, be in the gym, and to be able to, kind of stand a lot of that work. It's just physically demanding, but a lot of it too is kind of getting a little easier with AI and automated tools, but still you're still doing a lot of bending, lifting, working. So like the whole construction feels like a workout all day. And so
right.
You gotta train and make sure your body is up to it, and then also eating right too, to make sure that you can refuel yourself.
Drink lots of water.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that all makes perfect sense. And like True was saying, we are still neighbors as well. So we're still going to pull as much as we can and give as much as we can to you as well. When you touch back down, you're more than welcome at our space. We would like for you to come out there, and we all just chop it up and come up with some different ideas, and we can go to your space and do that as well. Because part of the reason why we decided to really push go is because we knew you were all out in that area. So thank you for taking the lead on that and helping us push forward towards that also. But what I wanted to mention as well is I know you talked about this is gonna be my last comment also. So I know you talked about jobs a couple of times as well, but I do want to encourage you. I know you still are, but I want to encourage you to continue to push forward to have your own as well, because you know how important that is. And then we don't have to go ask for anything. We're giving out those jobs. You feel me? We don't have to deal with the funny looks or the slick talk or the backwards, all of that stuff that comes along with the journey when you have to go ask somebody, can they assist you? Although we know bills and everything still has to get paid, I just wanted to encourage you to keep going on that on that portion of it, the ownership side, so that we can actually just have a little bit more control in this area, in this space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I will say, update. So I no longer work for the company I was working for. And so I'm just full,
Clap that up.
No, come on,
yeah,
come on.
full entrepreneur now, since, I officially quit in October of last year. So now I'm out here, doing projects. So we have a couple projects, that we're doing. 3 office tenant build outs on the commercial side, and 2 residential renovations we have for clients. So yeah, we're doing some things, and we're gonna continue to grow. So it's just the beginning right here.
That's it. Always keep community first, man. And this is, episode 69 has came in right on time. So, dope conversation with dope people, man. And I appreciate the build, man. And, this is community. This is what we talk about when we say community. It's about the actions that you do and the people that come along to support you. So we definitely appreciate you coming in, and we'll have to have you back, of course, sister. On the Plot in Progress podcast, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would love to come back on, and even like offline, if we want to chop it up and kind of create some something for the community, that would be cool too. Just let me know.
And a quick fun fact: that very first RBG weekend that you were at, I actually did the editing on the video, so I actually learned about you well beforehand without even knowing who you are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's what's up. Yeah. I mean, this goes back years then. Yeah. So, we definitely gotta keep that going. And, like I said, at the beginning, the different places that I've been to and lived at, like I've lived in Sacramento, California, LA, Phoenix, Arizona, Tuskegee, Alabama, and Atlanta. Nobody has a community that works together, like you guys have, for our people. Even it's crazy because you guys have a central bookstore, you have other, Black-owned businesses, and you guys are like feeding into each other and like literally having events. Like one person will have an event at their spot, and another person will have an event at their spot, and like just everybody just shops around with each other, and then you guys buy land together and have a whole movement and bring everybody out. So like that's not being done. Even in Atlanta, that's not being done, because here in Atlanta, it's just a lot of people who want to flash and kind of say that they have everything all together, and want to kind of just work by themselves. But you guys are really like pull your resources together and are doing it.
Yeah, in addition to the land ownership, it was also your spirit and your energy that's most memorable, and that goes across the board from everybody that we've talked to, and even our other brothers that we've had this conversation about you all with, and it's the energy and the spirit that you left us with. So hold on to that as well. You feel me?
Definitely. Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
You got any last words or anything you want to share to keep the people updated?
You guys can follow me on my Instagram. It's at Aleeyah, which is ALEEYAH DB. I think I'll tag it in the comments once it's posted. But and then you guys can follow on my website, www.dreambuilddevelopment.com. And yeah.
All right. Sure. Man, another dope episode, man. Before we get out of here, we'll pay a few, let you guys know what we got going on as far as what's coming up. We got the Legacy Camp that's coming up. I did want to take the opportunity to show you guys where you can find more information about that. So on the website, all you got to do is click on Legacy Camp. That'll take you in, and you can see all that you need to see about our upcoming Legacy Camp. Again, spots are limited. This is a great opportunity to get the young men out of the inner city and really out into the land and to tap into their creativity, man. We talked about this episode being creativity and about community as one of the takeaways that I'm taking away from this. And this is another opportunity for you to pour back into your community, man. We're building a legacy actively. This is what we're doing. We're building a legacy. That's coming up May the 22nd through the 24th. You don't want to miss out. Again, it's going to be another great experience, as we always have when we take them out to the land. So excited about that. We've got something new that's coming up this year in September the 26th to be precise. That's also on the website as well. So at the very top, all you have to do is click on the gala, and that'll tell you all you need to know about the Afrofuturism. Like my brother Kylan said on the last episode, get your garments together, whatever that happens to be, whatever that represents. But that's going down, man, September 26, 2026, man. So, tap in with us and lock in, man. This is what we're doing. And as always, man, if you, one of our biggest expenses that we incur when it comes to the actual Legacy Camp is around van. We've got a fundraiser that's going on right now for our van as well. It's there on top of our website as well. You click on the van fundraiser, that'll take you in and give you a little bit more information about, how you can tap in and help support our goal to be able to purchase our own van. So that way we can transfer the young men up to the camp without having to incur certain expenses and actually support the community, man. So those are the things that we got going on. Just stay locked in with us, growspot.org. You can always find us there.
Leah, you coming to the Afrofuturism Legacy Gala? You gonna come? You gonna show up?
I'll try. I'll try.
Put it on the calendar.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely got to put it on the calendar. Because I got availability now. So yeah, I definitely need to take another trip out there. So
for sure.
I ain't gonna hold you up any longer, sis. So thank you for coming on the show. We'll be up you later. All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace. So, here at the Growth Spot, man, we're unified in action to build, protect, and expand a fruitful legacy of love, equity, growth, ancestry, cooperation, and yield by inspiring and educating on the practices of agriculture, self-care, nutrition, environmental stewardship, and entrepreneurship. We aim to cultivate a vibrant community rooted in resilience and sustainability. Episode
Legacy.